Okay, thanks everybody. My name's Roger Knight, Executive Officer of Western Murray Land Improvement Group. We're a land care group based in Barham as our office, and we work from west of Deniliquin through to sort of Tooleybuck in the west of the Murray catchment. And thanks for Murray LLS and New South Wales PIPAP for the opportunity to run this event today. Did ask where to hold it and thought Deniliquin would be great as a centralised location. As we also, we got some funding through the Southern Riverina Drought Resilience Program. That was with 4 councils and gave us the opportunity, and one of those areas we were looking at was increasing drought resilience using biochar as that method. So we've been looking at. Originally, biochar came to us through the Murray-Darling Basin Economic Development Program due to water buybacks. And we went out to the community, we engaged about 600 people, went through a process of what people wanted us to look at or seek funding for. And the top 3 areas, we formed some working groups, some cluster groups, was industrial hemp, which we've now catalysed into a separate business we're trying to get investment for. Good to see that goes in, makes a beautiful biochar for water filtration. A food producers group, so I'll do a bit of a plug. We've just started online, as in last night, through the Open Food Network to sell local produce as a box product. We're starting up with local organic food, and we want to do the farmer backstory, those sustainability things, and maybe nutrient density of the products down the track. Maybe nitrate testing in leafy vegetables or whatever. And biochar might form part of that backstory. And we want to have some hubs eventually through the area where we've got some distribution points. And Hayley, who was here earlier, is looking at one in North Deniliquin for those hubs. And then we distribute that local produce around Australia and talk about our beautiful region where it comes from. And the other thing was biochar. So we had a lot of people interested in the use of that. We've got an enormous amount of organic material that's currently underutilised in our area, hundreds of thousands of tonnes of rice straw, rice hulls, but we've also got an existing timber industry. So we've got potential for biochar production. We originally looked at that as a pathway. I thought, what happens if we haven't got a market at the end of that? Return on investment's not going to look real good, especially as we're a non-for-profit charity. Not going to last too long. But so that was we're looking at the circular economy area. So could people supply the raw materials and they get biochar back as that feedstock? We look at carbon credits to support that and whatever else we could in that process. Do on-farm research. Look at value-adding products. Biochar can be made into about 2,500 different products. We talked about a few of them today. And we've got a roadmap as looking at biochar. We're currently in negotiations for a non-disclosure agreement with a biofertiliser manufacturer, looking at using lactic acid bacteria to convert proteins to nitrogen and maybe inoculate the biochar and mixing it with compost. And so we've got a few things bubbling away in our roadmap, which our board's just approved in the last couple of weeks. But as a starting point, one of the things that we did do was look at an opportunity with Metamorph on biochar as a high-grade biochar that can be used. There's these different grades of biochar. This is a product made out of ironwood that we thought would be a good one for adding to animal as a ruminants, and also for as a fertiliser replacement, and it's all come together with higher fertiliser prices at the same time. So we've got an expression of interest. There's a form going around. Has everyone got that form at all going around there? So and we've tried to we've got a fairly good competitive price for that to enable people to trial the use of it. And on the back of that paper, you'll see some areas there that we've put down at about $300 a cubic metre. So that covers, if people need it, includes $40 per bag, a bagged product, a cubic metre, or without the bag, then it'd be less than that. So a truck of about 140 cubic metres, we're looking at about probably $6,000, $7,000 GST plus about a 50% fuel levy on top of that. So I'll just say round figures, $10,000, which works out at I think about $60, $50 to $60 per cubic metre. So we're trying to get we're looking at a price of around the $210 to $220 a cubic metre for people to uptake. The trial use of that, plus the transport and the bagging costs. I've just applied to Riverina Sustainable. I don't know if there's a board member of that. Someone was going to try and get here today. So we've applied for a subsidy through the Land and Water Management Plan days. There's a pool of funding there to cover the transport and the bagging costs and allow people to uptake that. And by buying bulk, we're trying to keep that, the price between what an individual would pay would be a higher price, and we're trying to get a truckload and reduce that price by volume. But we've had our members want to look at a high grade biochar made out of timber, lignocellulosic products. But we've also, Tim was one example, and Tamara, looking at maybe a wheat-based biochar or a crop residue biochar as well. So we want to pursue that down the track, and that's I'll talk to people like Russell down the track and others, and one that might be already inoculated or fortified with other products. So our long-term goal is to look at that. So that's this price that we've been given does come with a caveat that you have to collect data because it has already got the credits through the manufacturer of the product. So you will have to comply with certain obligations on how it's used, and there'll be some reporting requirements that go along with that as a good price. So what we're saying there, we've put an indicative estimated fertiliser savings based on a 20% addition of the fertiliser by volume, so 0.2 of a cubic metre per hectare, and reducing I round a number here of 200 kilograms a hectare of fertiliser being used. You drop it by 100 kilograms, and it's just sort of ballpark figure of about, you'll see the indicative savings, I think works out about $3.85 in saving per dollar invested if Riverina Sustainable give us funding. That was my metrics I used for them. And then you'll see, obviously, with feeding, livestock and everything, obviously you've got sort of 10 to 20 times return on investment potential. So what we're doing is making this available for people to use for trial purposes. If you do want to know that, contact us through expression of interest, email or a phone call, and we'll try and take orders and see if we can make up some of those bulk volumes to give people a chance. What we've also put some funding in for through Riverina Sustainable is for us to work with local agronomists and, for instance, one of our people we've been talking to wants to do an electromagnetic survey of his farm, looking at the soil type and doing a replicate of existing fertiliser treatments versus half versus maybe some that it's inoculated and get some trial data. So I want to work with them. So if we get some funding, we'll be able to spend some of our time to collect that data and start increasing our knowledge. We've also got we've been unsuccessful for quite a while to get some local trials. Lucas Van Zwieten said, we're sick of trials. I've been doing it for 20 odd years. It's been proven. Just need uptake. Yeah.
I think the research, because that's all in our lives, but some field walks where people visualise it helps, I guess, is what,
Yeah, we've got some prices from Riv Plains to do some treatments, about $25,000 to $30,000. We've been talking to Irrigated Farmers Network, rice growers, others, so we'd love to, partner with other entities. A lady from New South Wales DPI was here today, but I think she's left. Just looking for partners and to explore you know, we're looking on this side of the border, but also cross-border, being a cross-border community where we can stack some partners to do some of these trials across a broad geographic footprint with different, you know, farm systems and soil types. And, you know, we've got acid soil issues in the east, we've got compacted soils in the west. So, you know, see if we can do something, but we probably have not necessarily being able to do scientifically really robust measurements, but it might be just a yield monitor and some things like that from a header, or if we do dairies, as you said, it's pretty easy. They monitor the yield if you've got electronic ID. They can see the, you know, the rumen change over 2 weeks by changing a feed ration with biochar in it, and look at milk yield. And you know, with other people who are good at collecting data, that'd be great too. Be able to collectivise that and feed that back. Was there any questions at all, or has anyone think about using some biochar now? Got a couple of hands up, 3.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to add something important that
yeah.
might be able to facilitate this. So through Cargill and some of these other grain buyers going forward,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cargill, which is, they have a sustained connect program, which was just for canola but now it's for wheat. And what they'll give is a $25 per hectare payback for reducing fertiliser inputs, and they're recognising biochar incorporated fertiliser as part of that. And they've just had some chats with them. So that's another opportunity for a payback by using biochar with fertiliser, which is the biggest growing trending use of biochar sowers. Forgot to mention that, but it's a no-brainer payback. You can get, you do have to apply, but it is a worthwhile thing to look at as part of your you know, if it's issue later.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm sort of in the grain dealing side of things, whether many people use Cargill, but yeah.
On that as well, we've just had a nice Murray Ellis upcoming events flyer, so I'll hand it out, and if anyone's feeling really excited, having talked about carbon a lot today, we're having a workshop in a few weeks to help farmers scope out carbon project potential on their farm, as well as biodiversity credit potential. And with that, you get sort of like 2 tailored feasibility reports for your farm, and it will give you a good sort of idea of what the potential is out to. So if anyone's interested in that one, come chat to me.
Thanks, Emily. Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
Roger.
thank you.
Thank you so much.